How are you? My name is Marla, and I just wanted to come on live and talk a little bit about this book by Bruce Abramson, the new Civil War, exposing elites, fighting utopian leftism, and restoring America. Bruce is amazing, and I don't know how it happened on the book, but I just thought it was an interesting read because I had already formed in my head the heart of the problem of America that's destroying what we believe as American. And I had just been enlightened by the fact that progressivism was at the heart of the destruction of our American principles. And when I came to realize this, I was sitting in a class on publicity, and I was learning how to get PR and a little exposure for my business, just a little bit. And I didn't realize that to become an elite, one, you needed to be liked by the media. So I used to believe that to become an elite, I used to believe that to gain expertise, you need experience and results and education. Well, in this new culture of elitism, you don't need experience. You are elite if the powers that be like you and they expose you and your message to the rest of the world. So to gain publicity in becoming an elite, an expert, you need to be liked by the media. What he is saying is that the universities create the elites because they are in charge of giving out credentials. So here I am, I have a degree from prestigious universities. So I'm thinking, okay, now I need experience. But that's no longer sufficient. You're not an elite. You're not an expert just because you have experience. You're an expert if they like you and they want you to be an expert. Does that make sense? So I'm running for office, and I consider myself an elite because I have the education and I have the experience. So I do believe that I am a little more knowledgeable than the average Joe Blow, especially in law. And I agree. I do have more knowledge than the average Joe Blow. I was led into a master's program at the law school, and I learned how to study law, and then I went and I became a paralegal. They did not allow me to be in the JD program. I did not pass the LSAT. However, I did get a bird's eye view of what law school is all about. And that was sufficient for me to fuel my knowledge in law and learning the law and learning how to think like a lawyer and educate myself on what I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn law. I wanted to learn how to think like a lawyer. And therefore, I was going to learn how to think like a lawyer, whether I become a JD or not. And I am an expert in it. I don't care whether I have a JD or not. I am an expert. And I am an expert, and I'm not going to deny the fact that I'm very good at research, writing, and analysis. I've taught myself all these with the paralegal program. You don't need a JD to learn law. You don't need a JD to learn how to think like a lawyer. You don't need a JD for anything much but to be able to take the bar exam and get licensed. And right now, it's really expensive to be to get a JD. And I hardly think it's worth it. Because why do you need to learn law at a master's level? Why? I think that lawyers need to learn the business of law, which is they sell themselves and their expertise and their experience. And they try to convince the client that they are the best lawyers out there to serve their interests. And that they will defend them and represent them well. They're glorified sales people. That's my opinion, of course. And to be a glorified salesperson, you don't need an expensive law degree. You just need to go out and know the law, know how to think like a lawyer well enough to represent people. And so right now the poor person really has no representation because it's so expensive to get a lawyer. So only elites have lawyers. That's pretty bad. A profession that serves people should not be expensive to the average common person. So Bruce says he has witnessed firsthand the hollowing out of scholarship in American academia and watched as cliches and credentials became substitutes for intellect and evidentiary arguments. The new Civil War is the best account to date on how the empty claims of expertise have led America into a political cul-de-sac. I agree with Fred Siegel, author of The Revolt Against the Masses and contributing editor to the Manhattan Institute of City Journal. I also agree with Joel Pollack on his assessment of the Civil War. Americans face a bizarre new political landscape. A supposedly moderate president who ran on the promise of unity is pursuing a radical left-wing agenda. These challenges call for principled, effective opposition. The new Civil War will help start a conversation about how to push back. And I also agree with Harmeet, he's a lawyer who defends the victims of progressivism every day. I have looked into the eyes of thought police. The Civil War provides the wake-up call American needs and serves as a self-defense manual for patriotic Americans. I agree with all three reviews. I agree because I was a victim of these progressives who wanted to shun my expertise and who wanted to shun my experience in the law and kind of push me out of the talking forum, of the discussion. I was canceled from Facebook for a year because I question a lot. I don't just sit there and take whatever people say as gospel. So this book is a good book to read, and I would read it alongside Glenn Beck's Reset. I'm still reading it. I just found it and discovered it again after 6 months of being in my husband's car. I would read it and try to understand that progressives have been leading us astray for over 100 years. It's nothing new. But now we have a lot of ignorance. And a lot of people have been indoctrinated